Welcome back to the last match of the first round of the 8-bit Ladderwars Invitational. In the bottom here we have ALL Recon, once again in that magnificent pink colour, once again playing the Lightbringers, who took a very impressive victory in the first round over, on the top side, our boy ZertoN. Both the ons sort of confused me there, I almost called him Recon as well. Who is once again playing this very boring light blue and playing the Renegades faction. So this is a good map choice, I think, from ZertoN. It's a very small map. It gives him more of a chance to perhaps do some damage early before Recon can get to that impressive late game army, which seems possibly unstoppable in this situation. ZertoN did choose to go for that heavily machine gun based army in the first thing with all of those in the first game with all of those machine gun choppers, but that isn't necessarily a bad idea. It might be that he could change that and get rocket choppers out earlier, and that might help him better against this mass of trees and phoenixes, but he might not be able to change that much. We'll have to see. Looks like another barracks here. That's a very interesting build. That makes me think he'll go for some sort of early aggression, but he's building it back here to take this other resource point. So I'm really not too sure on this. Recon looks like he's just sort of doing the normal thing, setting up. He's upgrading his fortress there, and he's just trying to build up that economy. He has the good double use of that town center there, even if his got them slightly bug-sided, or he's made a few too many by the looks of it. Maybe he just wants to overpopulate them here so we can fill them up later. And here we come with ZertoN's aggression. This makes absolute sense. Hit them before they have the trees is the most often stated strategy to playing against Lightbringers, and this is what ZertoN seems to be doing here. The Paladins tanking a lot of these shots though. Paladins really putting in work in this situation where they're not dying to rocket soldiers very quickly. They end up being incredibly worthwhile, because these machine gun infantry that could be shredding these sorceresses on the backline just aren't doing anything. The water elementals are also a very powerful force here, but look how little damage they are hitting to those paladins, and then they can just throw out the heals to each other as well. They are being incredibly strong, and we can see down here the first tree is out. This looks like it might be a sort of similar aggressive strategy to the one that Trollcules used in his game against Tarnation. We're just going to have to, for ZertoN's sake, hope that it goes a little bit better, but Recon is going into more of these sorceress towers for the defense, changing his build up more than I believe Tarnation did, but this is also on a smaller map than Tarnation was, and ZertoN now funneling around the other side with these units. That was a bit of a bad rally there, but he's now pushing forward with this. I do not know if he has teched up. It does not look like he has, and therefore he's going to be stuck on this tier 1 force, and I believe we've seen that this tier 1 force does not do incredibly well. I mean, right now it could be okay, but if Recon techs, or if he just builds up enough of these trees. I mean, the trees aren't going to be incredibly helpful here because rocket troopers just aren't going to care about them. But they are going to just be able to tank to get over there. If they can get some good crushes off, that will be incredible. He's got this defensive turret here, but it's quite far back. It's good for defending against this left side, but as you've seen, ZertoN has moved around to this top side to try and pressure around here. And there we go. The area is now going down back there. That was some good timing there. And this is going to allow him to get things like Phoenixes out, which will be incredibly useful against this. ZertoN is attacking before Recon is back, but he did push up towards that tree and end up having to retreat or get crushed, and that puts him back into the position right in the middle of the field where the rest of this army can get back into position. That one tree stationed up there did a lot of good there. And now it's this big army of infantry, and Recon's going to start a push of his own, and if Recon can start putting the pressure back on ZertoN, if at any point ZertoN loses this advantage of this huge ball of troops that he has, that'll be the end of the game for him, because he just has nothing to fall back on. The army from Recon is so much more technically advanced, and Recon is just pulling back into where he has that defensive advantage of a lot of ZertoN soldiers hitting the towers. We see a big clump of reinforcing units coming, but they are just dying quicker than anything from Recon's army is, it looks like. And as soon as there's a Phoenix out on this field, which there is right now, this is just going to be hell for ZertoN's army. Even if he focuses that Phoenix down real quick, that thing has 2 lives, and so it's going to be really hard to deal with. Already getting a good hit there of 2 kills. Great hit there in the middle of the force. And another one. And you can see these health bars really, really disparate here between the 2 armies. These tanks are going to go in to try and get some crushes, but the piercing projectiles of the trees just absolutely do not care for those tanks. And it seems that Recon and Tarnation and Wuxi were right to believe in the Lightbringers. Let's see if Recon can close this out with a incredibly powerful victory for Lightbringers, or if ZertoN will be able to pull this back. We've seen both an aggressive and defensive style from ZertoN, and neither have worked so far. So we will have to see.